Welcome, travelling friends of Australia. We are Willem and Anneke, and we hope you enjoy this episode of our podcast,
where we have a chat to other travellers and give them the opportunity to tell their stories and share the tips that they've learned along the way.
Today we got Matt and Ash from Seeka Bus, and we're going to find out why they went seeking a bus. Matt and Ash, how's it going?
Great.
Good.
Awesome.
Great.
Chilling out with some beers in this beautiful part of the world.
That's awesome. Can you guys tell us where you are at the moment?
We are at a place called Lockhart River, which is a part of the Iron Range in Queensland, Australia.
How long have you been there?
So Cape York Peninsula.
Yeah, Cape York Peninsula.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We've been up here now for
longer than we've actually been in our bus doing our bus life, actually. We've been up here a long time.
Yeah, probably
6 months?
Probably getting on 6 months,
Yeah.
So we originally had intentions to do a 2-week Cape trip, and that meant leaving our bus in Cairns.
Oh, yeah.
And 2 weeks into 3 months at a property called the Greenhouse.
Which is where we are now.
Yeah, just outside Lockhart River. And then 3 months turned into 5, and then 6, and then we'll probably stay we've got another month or 6 weeks here now, I think.
Yeah.
And then, so it'll be total maybe 8 in the end. Yeah.
Are you guys working?
But the Cape does. Yeah. We came up here to work originally. That was just for the 3 months. And then I guess being the way that the Cape is, you kind of meet a lot of people and opportunities seem to present themselves. And when you're seemingly the only backpackery kind of people in a small community, they definitely want to utilize us.
Yeah.
And so, our plans change. We stay longer and yeah. So, Matt's doing carpentry at the moment at Greenhouse.
Yeah.
And I'm cleaning. Good.
So I guess that kind of our first question is usually tell us a little bit about Matt and Ash, so who you guys are, where where you came from before you started traveling.
You go.
So I'm from Sunshine Coast, and before we went traveling, we met 2017. 17? Yeah. And before traveling, we kind of wanted to have a bit of an adventure. Maddie was going overseas, and I wanted to do around Oz, and was working with Coca-Cola, and then I got kind of sick of the corporate world, and I was in a pretty good position with Coke. Actually, I was doing the pubs and clubs, so the licensed side of Coke, which was really cool. It wasn't just the soft drink, so got to go to heaps of cool events, and then I guess just corporate life and full-time job, and just wanting to kind of see Oz before I got too old was a big thing for me. And so I just quit my job, and that was freeing. Let me tell you, that was amazing. Your turn.
And so I'm I just turned 33. And I was working as a carpenter between Brisbane and Gold Coast. So I'm sort of Gold Coast boy. Grew up, sort of on the northern end of the coast, and then ended up down around Miami way and for around 10 years. And then met Ash on Sunny Coast, and then we bought our bus 3 years in. No, sorry.
No, we are 3 years in now. We bought the bus 6 months in.
6 months into meeting. So it all happened pretty fast for us, and then so our bus, Seeka Bus, has become a pretty cool part of our sort of journey as a couple, and so it's, something we both wanted to do when we first met, and so now we just ticked a year into our trip actually. Yesterday.
It was yesterday.
The 20th of March.
Yeah.
So
Congratulations.
Hence the celebrations.
Cheers.
Good. You guys are actually pretty privileged being in the Cape York there, because I heard it's recently closed its doors for everyone else.
No, that's actually a point of discussion. Actually, the point of interest. Yeah, that's fake news.
Oh, really?
really?
Yeah,
All
Yeah.
drama.
it's drama,
But
but it's
it's
not.
probably something that they're thinking of doing, because I've heard that, like, the people that we know that have gone there, they were kind of like, wow, it's very like polluted and stuff for a place that they thought wouldn't be, you know?
It's an eye opener because people then now realize that if they don't take care of the things that were the places they visit, then they will lose it because it can be a reality.
Oh,
Yeah,
of
for
course.
sure.
Yeah, definitely. Are they? Yeah, it's a funny one because we've been to the. So we are. Is it 8 hours away from the tip where we are now?
Oh, it's about. It'd be a
No, it's
good day's drive. Yeah, 12 hours.
Oh, okay.
12 hours or so from Jinka itself, so from the actual tip. And so we've done that trip twice, and it is funny. Like you do make a huge big. It's an event. Sorry, there's so many mosquitoes here. They're not biting though, which is good.
Yeah.
It's a massive event. Getting up to the tip, and it's amazing. It's a part of the journey is actually getting there. But yeah, it is just like a little track, and you follow up some rock stones, statues, and then you're kind of there. It's good because it doesn't have huge signage or whatever. But to be honest, when we went up there wasn't that much rubbish as such at Jinka itself, like that Bamaga maybe and those kind of places. But
Yeah, we didn't actually read that article. What was involved in that?
We just read it was all fake news, and I guess talking to the people who have businesses up here, they're pretty pissed off, I think, with that kind of media.
Yeah, it was just, I didn't read much into it, but it just said that the community was fed up with like all the tourists that come there and leave their rubbish around and that kind of stuff and just ruining the place.
Yeah.
So they're thinking of closing it. And then later this week, someone actually posted something that said it's closed.
It is closed now. Yeah.
So, but I haven't gone and read anything. I don't have the time anyway to go and read that much into that kind of stuff. But
we do know the PDR, so the Peninsula Development Road. We do know that's closed, but that's obviously like due to the wet season. So in a way, I guess it's kind of closed. Like it actually is against the law. We're sort of friends with the coppers in town, and being pretty small in Lockhart, we do see a bit of the coppers at the cafe here and stuff. So yeah, we do know it is against the law to drive on that road at the moment. I think a few of the locals do it, and it's pretty hard to enforce, I think. But so
if you want to drive on it, sure you can, but it's hectic.
Yeah,
it's insane.
So
I wouldn't.
We found out, so for the first time probably since the wet came in, I don't know, late December, January, I think we heard that the first locals made it from Lockhart River to Weipa in the last week.
Yeah.
I think 3 cars got through.
wow.
So that's like big news at the moment to hear, like people got out and got back.
Because we are definitely stranded. We're stranded here.
Wow. Okay.
No, it's good.
It's not like flooding. It's not like flooding dangerous, or it's just you can't get out. Hey.
The creek crossings are flooding, and it is dangerous. There's been a couple of hairy stories we've heard over the last month or so about people getting over some crossings and it not being quite the way they planned, and
it's quite it's everywhere up here on the road from the PDR to here. I think there might be 6 or 7 creek crossings.
Yeah.
So we just went to our waterfall there. I think we crossed, which is only about 15 minutes down the road. We crossed 3.
Yeah.
One of them is, I don't know, sort of bull bar height on the full drive, but it wasn't dangerous, but it happens quite a bit. I mean, Luke and I got stuck. What day was that?
Thursday night.
Friday we went fishing just in Portland roads, and we got stuck in town and couldn't make it back to here. So it's quite common. You do sort
happens quickly too.
Get caught up. Yeah, it comes up really fast and then drops really fast. So we nearly had to stay the night over there, but we just snuck back. So
anyway,
is your bus like parked up now? Right, it's like parked up permanently.
Somewhere.
So do you have like a different car that you drive around with, or?
We're actually carless at the moment. We don't.
Yeah.
We're just full.
We're full gypsies. So we did start as bus life.
Yeah.
we had the bus. We were in it for 5 months, and then we spent a lot of time in Cairns, up the northern beaches, and just explored through there, up the Daintree, and then we basically really, really wanted to get to top of Australia. And being that it was COVID and we were restricted to Queensland, we just thought we were, being dickheads for not even thinking about getting up there. We knew the bus couldn't make it because, obviously it's a bus with our whole entire small home attached. So we had to think about, I guess, what we were going to do. And we just had a couple of beers on a Sunday and we're just like, okay, all right, we'll brainstorm how we're going to get there. And then we contemplated hiring a full drive, and to do that is so expensive. It's an option, but it's so expensive. So we basically read remember that one forum we read, and right at the end it just said, don't rent, just buy a full drive and sell it. And we're like, oh yes, let's do that. And so within 2 weeks our whole plan had completely changed. We parked the bus up at a place called Yorkeys Knob in a dry boat harbour. So it's just sitting there with all these old crusty boats at the moment. But he's safe. And we bought a Nissan Patrol, which was a real big change from the bus. It was, a big beast, four-wheel drive, and then we just basically changed to beast mode and legged it to the Cape. But then we've sold it since, so.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so we're actually Alice at the moment. We sold it thinking same thing. We're not really planners on our trip. We're not really big planners. So we sold it. Thinking, I think we put it up at the start of December, thinking we were leaving the Cape. We had plans to leave by Christmas, and then we got a house sit offer down at 40 minutes down the road, down at Portland Road, at a really cool property called the Temple.
Yeah.
And then so sold the car. I think it sold the first day. We put it out the front of the cafe here at Sold, and we got what we wanted for it. And so we've been without a car now for since then 3 months.
Since Christmas.
Probably 3 months.
Bizarre.
Yeah,
very strange.
It's a pretty funny feeling. But since then we've two kind of house sits. We've house sit a really cool property looking over the Great Barrier Reef at Portland Roads there, and we just come off 5 weeks on Restoration Island, house sitting taking an island there. So
wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
And is there any plan on getting back to the bus, or how long are you going to still stay there? What's the plan?
Yes.
Definitely. There's definitely plans for
we just keep extending our extension up here because we're just loving it. But so end of April. So we sort of wanted to see out the wet season up here. We're really enjoying our time and doing a bit of fishing and seeing some really cool stuff and exploring and working and making a bit of money and then having some time to ourselves as well. And just two good experiences to turn down. So
and I think as well, when you are living on the road and you do get an opportunity to work that's a bit more permanent, because you are so transient all the time. We talk about this quite a lot, actually. When you come to a new place and you are that temporary person, and it's kind of hard to get out of that mindset of being temporary. Like even, making friends and that kind of thing, you try and put yourself forward, but at the end of the day, people kind of see you as still that transient person. So we jumped at having an opportunity to work at the one place for 3+ months because it was something that we were really keen on. Getting to know the place and getting to know the people, because people that you meet and people that you know give you better experiences. Yeah,
it changes the whole experience. Like you can stay a month in a place and feel like you got a feel for it, but then you can stay 3. Obviously, staying 6 months, that sort of changed everything for us here. Really,
basically
sort of
living here now forever.
Yeah, we know a lot of faces, and you go into town and you feel like a bit of a local. And it's been a pretty cool. We're so glad we stayed up here.
Yeah,
it's been a really cool experience.
Yeah, I love that. And most people that we've spoken to, when we ask them about the experiences they've had, it's mostly when they've connected with the locals and the people, or other travelers even, connecting with the people is the best experiences that they've had. So that's awesome. I think the slow travel life is good. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your bus because I think you guys renovated that yourselves, and that is obviously your main travel setup.
It is. So Seeka is a 98 Nissan Civilian, and he was originally a school bus in Melbourne. We bought him from the Gold Coast. We bought him for 10K, and he owes us about 30 at the moment after we did everything, or most things ourselves. Me being a carpenter, we did the reno inside ourselves, learned a lot. Myself doing that, Ash learned a lot as well. Learned a lot about ourselves. It wasn't an easy thing to do. Like it was a pretty cool experience. We're both working full time in that process.
Oh, you were working overseas as well.
Yeah, I worked
So Matt was doing like FIFO stuff from New Zealand.
Yeah, a little bit of work in New Zealand in there, which made things at the end there, sort of a bit trickier. And but yeah, he's really cool. We run a pretty basic setup. We have no wet rooms inside, so we have no toilet, no shower. Like outdoor shower, which we hang off the side, just a little outdoor gas shower.
Yeah. We do have a toilet.
Yeah, we have a porta potty on the roof, which we carry.
Carry it on top just in case we ever go to places.
Yeah, national parks and things like that, parks, which we heard was a good thing to do.
If you don't have one, you can't basically camp there. So that was why we carry that.
Yeah. Pretty simple, really. Yeah.
We do have a really big kitchen inside. That's one thing that's probably a bit extra. It's probably double the size of it should be. Hey,
we renovated. We found an old kitchen off Gumtree we ended up getting it for $50. Was it 54 or 50? I think 54.
1956 or 54. Yeah.
It's got like the dates on the inside of the cupboard. So we renovated an old kitchen. So we almost based our whole bus off that, and and it turned out sort of quite big. And we put a couple of old slabs of hardwood on the top of that, which I picked up for a work job. So yeah, she's got a bit of character. It's got like the original sort of like, I think Ash found like a cool shade of orange when she stripped back the paint, and sort of we restored it to its original colours, and so it's got a pretty bright looking kitchen. And
we used the other part of the kitchen as well. So when we got it, it had a asbestos back, and we had to sand it all back down, and it had about 8 colours underneath the original paint, and one of them was the orange that's the base in our kitchen, and the other one on the other side of the kitchen is like a pale olive green. It's really beautiful, and that's one of the colours was in there as well. But we used the whole thing actually. $50, best $50 we ever spent.
Yeah,
wow.
Bargain. And even like the original latches, and because like in the 50s they had those little pop latches, and it's perfect for traveling because shit doesn't fly everywhere. Great.
So yeah, all the latches still work, so that was pretty cool. And then most of the other stuff in the bus is sort of got a lot of recycled stuff in the bus. I mean, it's something we're both into, restoring and reusing. But
less waste.
I think the way we moved twice during the bus build. So we moved the bus from Gold Coast to the north side of Brizzy, and then from there to Kilcoy, which is Ash's family farm. So we moved it up there, and then both properties were at over the build sort of had a really cool old big shed, a lot of old materials and things. We were really lucky with both of them, like
things we could pinch and borrow and probably never return again.
Yeah, we had like an old shed which we sort of got treated to, said use anything, take anything you want sort of thing, and we sort of went for that, and that was in Sandgate. And then Ash's sort of family farm up there, so it sort of changed the way of the build for us. I mean, we had a rough idea of what we wanted to do, but the end result sort of turned out a lot more quirkier and sort of different than what we originally had in mind. So
yeah,
I would say it's probably about 80% recycled. Really, it's got an old pallet bed that I built Ash when I first met her in it. Yep. It's got half of Ash's, or like panels from Ash's old family kitchen. It's got the flooring's out of an old Woolworths job out the back of Ipswich somewhere. Yeah, it's got a lot of weird sort of stuff.
You won't be able to sell it.
No, we can't. We can't.
Part of you.
It's got a little bit.
We did think about renting it out though at one stage, but Yeah, I don't know if we could ever sell it now.
Pass it on to the kids one day, maybe.
Now we're so ingrained in it. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and lots of tears.
And beers.
And beers.
Our next question was, what's special in your bus? But I think you've kind of like covered
Everything's
that, like,
special.
everything that you have in there.
Oh, we've got one thing to add. So my grandmother was a seamstress, and she did a lot of like upholstering in her day. She's really good with her hands and good with sewing, and she actually made our seat covers. If there's any photos on our Instagram, I think there might be, of our seat covers. They're like retro paisley rainbow beautiful seat covers, and we stripped the original ones off, and I basically unpicked them all, and I said to her, Nana, do you reckon you'd do like one final upholstery job? And she just kind of looked at me like, what? Because it was quite a hard thing, and she really got into it, and she loved it. And then seeing them on the final result, she was just like so happy, and it was so beautiful.
That is special.
And it was,
that is very special.
yeah.
Wow.
Next thing, we move on to destinations you've been since you started to travel.
There's heaps of favorite parts, but yeah.
Sorry, I think.
Destinations we've been, or favourite destinations?
Or
we're there.
yeah, maybe go your favorite one.
Favourites. So, funnily enough, we've been on the road a year and we haven't left Queensland. That's largely to do with COVID.
It's COVID's fault.
Yeah, we'll blame it on COVID, but I've been enjoying it. We're not fussed at all. We thought about that, and we've had plenty of grief from mates and family saying we'll see you in 10 years. There's no way you're coming back anytime soon. But
yeah. Favorite spot for me would be Restoration Island, but we obviously didn't get there in the bus. We did that when we've been gypsying around, but that would be my favorite place, most definitely. Like the history, especially in the Cape, is pretty amazing. And yeah, being able to be at Restoration Island with, just us and Louis was pretty amazing. It's just something that you don't experience ever. You don't get to babysit an island. And yeah, that was really cool. And we got the opportunity we had a boat as well, so we had access to the mainland, but we did make a pretty conscious effort not to go to the mainland. We're really Bruce Willis. Is it Bruce Willis? No.
Not Bruce Willis.
Who is it? Castaway. Tom Hanks! Yeah, very Tom Hanks. But it was really, that was my favorite by far.
Bruce Wilson.
Wilson, that's what I was thinking of. Wilson!
They're all good blokes. Yeah, I'd probably second that. It's a pretty special place up here. The whole place up here, really. The Iron Range, Lockhart River, the community in town, Portland Road, which is another small town I mentioned before, about 40 minutes from here, and then it all sort of links up. And then Resto, just off the coast. It's been pretty. Yeah, the
top end. We'd recommend anybody anywhere to see the top end. 100%, and give yourself whatever amount of time that you think you need, just double that,
triple it,
and then whatever amount of anything that you think that you need, just double it, triple it, and then just stay up here as long as you can.
Yeah,
and we're excited to get there.
Yeah. And now, before your time finishes on your travels, I don't know when that is or when they kick off again, where is a bucket list place that you still want to go and see before you
Probably
finish?
Plenty, the rest of Australia.
Bucket list. I think we've got big high hopes for WA. There's something about
Exmouth. I want to get to Exmouth.
Yeah, like Exmouth and Ningaloo, and we've got big sort of, I don't know, for some reason we feel like we're going to buy a property somewhere over there. Neither of us have been to WA. We haven't been any further west than, we haven't really gotten off the East Coast.
No, we haven't left
on the whole East Coast. I've been to Tassie myself, and Ash has done a bit as well. With, a bit of overseas travel, but we haven't never been west. So we're really excited to get over there.
Yeah, something about WA is just really exciting to us. really looking forward. Have you guys been WA?
Oh, we live in WA.
You are there.
Oh, you are there.
Yeah. We live here, but we still need to do all of the north. Like I've been to Darwin, and then we went to Kununurra, so we went into WA that way. But I've not really been to anywhere else except for up to Kalbarri from here. And then I've done a lot down south. We've seen down south, but we definitely that's where we're heading first when we get our caravan done.
Yeah. But the thing about WA is it's so diverse. Like you get the red dirt, you get, the desert, and
you get the forest down here.
Forests down here, and there's everything's down here. Yeah.
Very cool. We've heard it's
amazing.
It's like a lot of super great, like crazy locations and like very spread out.
Yeah.
Out
between.
Not like remote, but just like heaps of awesome spots, but just super spread.
Yeah, I think you guys will fit perfectly because I do think WA is more of the, like, you don't get many caravan parks. It's more just like the free camps, the bush camps, especially areas. Up north. It's the slow living kind of life over here. So yeah. I'm pretty sure you'll get stuck here.
We'll just never go home.
We're seriously, I don't know when we're going home. We're ending back. It's too good. Why would you want to go home? Go back to work.
Yeah.
Like we've been working. I think we worked out the other day. We've worked 4 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Maybe like solid work 4 months out of the year. So we're running about a third of the year, and we're working out that's a pretty good balance.
Yeah.
For us.
We just kind of work when we feel like we need to, or an opportunity comes up. But we did save up a lot before we started traveling. We both, worked pretty hard and saved for 18 months or so before we actually left. And a couple of grand went into the bus right at the end with all our like the power and the bigger stuff. But we just kind of work when we need to. And
I think it's a good chance to take up some work when you're missing that feeling of whether you're you want to call it homesick, or you just want to be a bit more grounded, and you want
routine.
Routine
is
lacking
important.
a bit of routine, and you float around the beach and do nothing and play guitar or stare at the sunset or whatever all day every day. But there does come a point where you miss that routine. Hey, and I think that's when we just go, let's go find something, and we've been using Helpex a little bit for that. Or if we want to see a little bit more of a certain place, we've been using it for that, and to spend a little bit more time in that place, and that's sort of what led us here, and here we are like 6 months later.
Okay, so now we talk about destinations. Is there any experiences or funny stories, or just not funny, but any story that you want to share?
What story do you want to share? What am I thinking? The hippie farm. Rainbow Valley.
Yeah, let's go that one.
Okay, so we did stumble across in the 60s it was a hippie community, a nudist hippie community in Mariba, and they had a lot of it was like fruitarian, vegan, hippie, naked people everywhere, little like shacks and shanties everywhere. And so we've come in basically like 50 years later, and a guy from Melbourne has bought the farm, and I guess there's like remnants of what once was. And so he had people come in and kind of help him plant, and they do a lot of syntropic farming there, which basically means you just plant a whole heap of stuff in the one place and just see how it grows, and then it kind of protects. So we spent some time there, and Matt didn't like it. Oh, you did like it. It was just like a lot of it was a bit airy-fairy for Matt, and for me, I kind of like being a bit airy-fairy. So it was airy-fairy. It was definitely not sold. Like, it was sold to us as being a vegan horse ranch.
I think the funny part was the story of how it about. So we're in Raven, so just about to leave Raven. So Atherton Tablelands, and
that was our first Helpex actually.
Yeah, we bought a little Piaggio. Is it a 125 scooter?
A scooter.
Yeah, for the back of the bus. We bought it off we met some Spanish bird. I think we bought it for $1,200 or whatever it was. And she said, "Hey, I'm staying out at this. I'm working on this property.
I'm staying at a vegan horse ranch. You should come." And I was like, "Yes." Matt just looked at me. He's like, "It's not going to be what you think it is." Yes, it is, Matt. It's going to be a vegan horse ranch. Okay, I'm there. Basically, it was just a heap of ganja and a lot of fruitarians.
yeah, a lot of fruitarians. It was like the perfect introduction to North Queensland. Like, I've never eaten fruit in my life. It was amazing. Like
we definitely got pretty fruity.
It's actually really cool. Like,
yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, these guys had like not a lot of and there was a bit of ganja involved, but not a lot of no crazy drugs or anything.
Yeah, no crazy vices, which
anything too weird, but just a lot of fruit. Like these guys were getting high on just life and fruit. Really.
Fructose. We did actually cross the Daintree River. We went to this jam one night with the family we were there with. We'd say family. Yeah. And we got to the Daintree River and it was a little bit rainy, and our dog Louis, he was really against having dogs. He doesn't like dogs for some reason. So Louis was kind of a first point, but we basically got rowed across this croc-infested river with a heap of musical gear by this naked wizard. That was an experience.
It's pretty well what happened.
A naked wizard.
Doesn't wizards usually have like lots of clothes on, like robes?
Yeah.
No clothes.
Well, he had nothing on. So this property in the Daintree, they didn't allow barcodes on the property. So we were drinking. Well, I think we were having a couple of beers.
Oh, there was no alcohol, no dogs, no barcodes.
Yeah, you weren't allowed barcodes, which is pretty interesting. So
bring a pallet of fruit.
Yeah, and then we got rowed across. You had to cross the Daintree to get to the property, and then walked about a K like uphill karting. Yeah, like pretty well everyone had.
I think I was carting like 3 bok choys, and those were the heaviest fucking bok choys I'd ever carried in my entire life. I was like off Dirty Dancing, how she's carrying that big watermelon. Oh man, the Daintree was such a strange place.
Sounds exciting though. It sounds like something you'll forever remember, and you were safe.
They were really good.
Yeah, that was such fun. It was such an experience.
Yeah.
Did you get your answer? Experience?
Yeah, that's a pretty good experience.
No, we had a sneaky. Should I tell them that one?
Which one?
About the Jardine or not?
No. No. A very brief version, a small version, a snippet.
The short story was it's a Cape story, which is pretty common up here. You get yourselves into some pretty hairy situations, and we were new to the Cape, and I didn't really think I was a full driving rookie or anything. I'd done a bit of beach driving before, and we had a pretty capable car in our patrol, we thought. And I actually had my folks up here. They flew up to see us. We hadn't seen anyone since before COVID, and sort of didn't say bye to my fam or really many people at all when we left. And so they flew up to Lockhart River, and we did a Cape trip, which meant the telegraph track up to the tip, and we wanted to show them Pajinka, the tip of Queensland. And so part of that was the telly track. Mum and Dad were all for the telly track, and then
telegraph track is basically the original way to get to the tip. Oh, you probably know about it.
Yeah,
but it's at some point it's quite hairy.
And then we sort of got the end of it, and you can get on the ferry, and it's $100 ticket to get across. And I was sort of a bit misinformed. I sort of thought there was we met a bunch. You meet people all along the way, along the telly track, and you see the same people on the way, sort of thing. And this couple had sort of said, "Oh, he's going to do the Jardine," and we said, "Oh, what's the Jardine about?" And they said, "Oh, apparently you can cross the Jardine and avoid the ferry ride." And we sort of thought, "Oh yeah, we'll give that a go." And Mum and Dad are all for it. I said, "No,
I don't think it's a good idea."
Dad's 74, And then they were like, yeah, let's do it. So anyway, a couple of beers later, and yeah, silly Matt just decided I walked the river. Long story, but walked the river, and we got stuck halfway across it with mum and dad in the back. End up having to unload the whole like everything out of the car.
We thought the car was gone. Basically, we took the we had some, what do they call it?
A couple of cracks getting out, and
the current was so strong that we put the max track underneath the wheels to try and get some traction, and it just like popped up and floated away. It was just gone. Then we ended up getting some sticks, like logs from one side of the river. So we're like in the guts of the river. It's like 240 meters across. It was monstrous. And the water is rising. We are sinking in the sand. We just basically said goodbye to the car. We're just like, nah, it's absolutely gone.
Thought she was gone. And anyway, I made the call to unload the home from, thinking that
we were heading north, and
that I got it. That we were if we were getting out, we were sort of going back the way we'd come. And long story short, we ended up getting out. We found a winch strap, like a snatch strap
that was just long enough
in the mud, that we ended up extending our winch onto and got ourselves out of it. But funnily enough, we got ourselves out the way we were going. So we got ourselves out on the northern bank just on dusk, and all our gear was on the southern side.
No.
Right on dusk, jardine full of Crocs.
We
had all our gear on the southern side.
Matt's parents,
mum and dad, with mum.
Louis.
Yeah, mum had been sitting up on the bonnet, like calling for help on the two-way.
Croc spotting.
It was a shit show. Yeah, it wasn't a good experience, but we got out alive and funny to look. Oh.
What a story!
It's still a story to tell.
Good, and so but the moral of that story is make sure you are always prepared for the worst thing to happen, because the worst thing most likely will happen
when you're in the cave.
We'll remember that.
It's still open by the time we.
Yeah.
Yes. I was going to ask before, do you guys have any tips or tricks for other people who are traveling?
Advice.
Yeah.
Always take your four-wheel drive recovery kit.
That's important.
That's tip number one.
I think a tip would be, and it's going to sound a little bit cliche, but don't be afraid of what you're afraid of. So like quitting job, like traveling somewhere, like doing something that you haven't done before, you're going to be fine. You're most likely, most times going to survive. Just got to be confident in yourself and doing things that are out of your comfort zone, because it gets you the best experiences, and it makes you, I think, more resilient. And that's the biggest thing that is important, I guess, when you're traveling, is just being able to be resilient. And just water off a duck's back. Sweet, she'll be right. Don't take it to heart. Shit goes wrong, and you can always kind of come out of it.
Yeah, we've learned
resilience.
We've learned that's the stuff you remember when stuff goes wrong, like whether it was full driving or whatever.
There's things that have gone wrong in the bus as well.
Yeah, but that's the stuff you remember when you're stuck, I don't know, on the side of the road for a night, or
make the most of it.
It's part of the journey, and you've got to learn, which we've learned really well up here, is to say, she'll be right.
She'll be right. She'll be right.
And there's always tomorrow, and if you don't know how to fix it
no worries, mate.
No worries, mate.
There's always YouTube, and you can always fix it tomorrow. So just crack another beer, and you'll work it out later.
Yeah.
That's awesome advice. I think that is, because there's so many variables. Like, you're not stuck in one place. You're not stuck in your routine that you usually are. Where you're comfortable. It's a completely different world out there.
And it's not always good. Not always beautiful. It's not always picturesque. You're not always staying in. What is that? Oh, Jesus. What a huge cricket.
Yeah. And like you said, everywhere's different. We've found as well, like, there's so many different yeah, like you're not in your home environment every day, and you're whether you're driving through daily or weekly into different ones. Yeah, the environment, whether it's weather or the locals or whatever, like things do change. So you've got to like always be adapting.
Yeah,
adapting and changing, and
I think that's what's so exciting, though. It makes it
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
It's not a
So-
boring life. It's yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
no, exactly.
Was there anything else you guys wanted to add?
Traveling with dogs, don't be afraid to travel with them. Like we always heard when we first started our trip not to bring him, actually, because it'd be like too hard for him and too hard for us. We wouldn't be able to go to the places that we could go. But he's honestly been the best little accessory we've brought.
Oh, look at those ears.
So
So you guys have only
Yeah.
got Instagram. Is that where our viewers can find you guys, or have you got
Any other
Facebook and stuff as
socials?
well?
yeah, we've got Facebook and we've got YouTube. There's not that many videos on YouTube yet, but we're obviously working toward being movie makers.
Yeah, stay tuned. So that's our plan, is to try to get some more movies going. We're pretty new at the moment, but we got the drone there, and that's something we want to do. And we did have the drone. We got something we want to do.
We did have it.
Is do the YouTube thing. We'd love to do that. We're trying to build a bit of a following. Ash is a bit of a great musician. But
Yes, we heard that.
we're trying to build we're trying to start something called Seeka Sessions, which is going to try to we're sort of aiming with our YouTube to go down that path, so stay tuned for that.
Maybe when we get to more communities and when we're around more people, like there's literally 9 residents at Portland Roads and 1 person is a musician, and in Lockhart, where we are at the moment, there's 6 people who live here, so there's not really that many people for me to jam with. But when we do get to bigger places, bigger towns and communities, that'd be something I would love to do. That is maybe get into the schools and just play some music with the locals, and that kind of thing would be awesome. So Seeka Sessions is definitely in the works, but we don't really have that many people here at the moment.
And what is your handle for
awesome.
all of those?
Instagram is Seeka_bus. Facebook, I think you just type, if you just type Seeka Bus, you'll find our channel. That's all I think we have. And Facebook.
YouTube is also just Seeka Bus.
Facebook is Seeka_bus.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Ash.
All right, cheers.
Guys,
Talk to you soon.
Bye.